Let's please welcome our presenter for the day, Miss Amy Gaskin with Clermont Neighbors magazine.
Hi, my name is Amy Gaskin, and I publish a magazine called Clermont Neighbors. It's one of 1,400 magazines nationwide that my company publishes. Dave Morris is here. He's starting the one in Horizon West. Next, some of you from Eustis know Todd Headley. He does like Eustis Neighbors. So my company is called Best Version Media, and I am looking to connect with business owners and people in Clermont. So our magazine is more social media and print. So we highlight people. The neighborhoods I actually serve are over 55 neighborhoods here in Clermont. Typically, the publications go to all age neighborhoods, affluent neighborhoods nationwide. This one happens to be just over 55. It goes to Kings Ridge, Heritage Hills, and Summit Greens. There is a fourth I want to add, which is just right up the road from here on the left. I'm going to do that as well. I'm looking for people that are looking to make some tax-deductible donations. I mean tax-deductible marketing stuff on their taxes, etc. I'm looking for people to give back to their community, etc. I'm looking for people that are concerned about getting their businesses out there and marketing it, but they're afraid of the cost. We can do things for as little as 10 cents a home up to about 65 cents a home, which is less than the cost of a stamp. I'm looking for community-minded people. I'm a connector. I'm also known as aging maven aficionado, and I have my Ask Amy About Aging podcast. I like to surround myself with people that know more than I do, and I like to learn from them. So I am looking for experts in the area in finance, food, sports, medical, contracting, etc., to give advice to the neighbors. I've done everything from sales to teaching to barter. I've done yellow pages, I've done radio ads, I've done it all, but I've never seen anything like Clermont Neighbors. I've never seen anything like what Best Version Media does. I like to play Dungeons and Dragons. I have a family of 3 adopted children, and I have 4 grandchildren, 4 bonus grands, and I have exchange students all over the world. Very community and faith-filled. I got into the senior industry in 2010 and never looked back. Not bad for somebody who went to college to be a teacher. So this is my family. So I got my grandkids, my kids. Oma is German for grandma. And so that's who I am. And Clermont Neighbors does 3 things. We are, as I said, social media and print. We always feature a local family on the cover, and we can learn about them. And we also have articles that are geared towards Clermont, geared towards the giving advice to the neighbors. So we have expert contributors. So if you are my finance expert, 4 times a year you get to write a finance article. If you're my travel expert, 4 times a year you get to write a travel expert. We also manage your online presence, which I don't know if you know about this. There's a difference between online presence and SEO marketing. And SEO optimization, SEO market, both are very much needed, and they complement one another. But how you appear online and up to 50 search engines is important, and you got to match. You got to have photos, you got to have reviews, etc. So we do that. We also do micro-targeted display ads on the internet, Facebook, Instagram, Google, and other search engines as well. So we take marketing and micro-target it so we can make it affordable for local businesses. Clermont Neighbors goes, as I said, to Kings Ridge, Heritage Hills, and Summit Greens. Eventually I'll be doing a Clermont Lakes Neighbors, which are going to go to the more affluent neighbors. It will be in all age neighborhoods. And we'll eventually have the local sports teams for the college and high school teams, and all the kids that are going off to college doing great things, and highlighting them as well. And then my coworker Dave is doing Bridgewater Village, which is going to be going to Summer Lake, Overlook, New Independence, and Orchard Hills. And so those are the more affluent neighborhoods in Horizon West versus Winter Garden. As I mentioned, Todd does Lake Eustis. I can help get you into any magazine in the country, so wherever you want to target locally. With BVM, you are become inside of a community. So right now you become inside the Kings Ridge, Heritage Hills, and Summit Greens when you're part of Clermont Neighbors. Otherwise, you're on the outside. We make you part of the community. We like to bring people together so that the business owners can become part of that community. We're all about local branding. BVM got a hold of a study that we did not do. These are the most preferred advertising medias. 1% of the people in the world thinks that billboards is the best advertising they've ever done. 50% of the people polled said BVM was the best advertising they've ever done and the most bang for the dollar. 30% find community magazines. We are a community magazine. So that means 80% of the people in the world, small businesses that advertise community magazines are the way to go. And 15% is social media. This is an older study. They recently redid it. Social media has gone up to 18%. But the community magazines has not gone down. Other forms of advertising, which are very expensive, and they're more like one-hit wonders, radio, direct mail, flyers, coupons. But we go to, instead of advertising everywhere, we micro-target to make it affordable. So I'm looking to grow Clermont so I can do all the things I want to do for Clermont, which is give back to the community. I am all about giving activities for seniors and events. I want to do my Clermont Neighborhood Olympics. I want to have the business owners be able to contribute. So I'll be doing poetry contests for the seniors. It's going to be neighborhood versus neighborhood. Kings Ridge, Heritage Hills, Summit Greens. Can't do any of that until I sell a few more ads for the magazine and get a few more sponsors, a few more people to give back to these communities for their private monthly magazine that gets mailed out to the 3,400 homes, costing people anywhere between 10 to 64 cents a home. I'm looking for professionals that are going to want to give advice to these seniors, et cetera, as well. Contractors, home health, senior living communities, spas, golf, whatever. I do want to have a, even though that traditionally the sports section in the magazine is usually the youth sports in the area, seniors they have clubs and they have, cribbage tournaments, they have golf. I want to highlight the guy that got the hole-in-one at the local course this week. So I've tried reaching out to businesses and I'm having trouble getting them to understand that marketing is important and they're afraid it costs too much. So right now, until I sell the 3 more ads, I can't afford to join any of the chambers or some other places that cost money, but I'm looking for help. Prior to 2018, I was used to making over $100,000 a year and everything I did was magical and I could talk to anyone, and then I got into a car accident and life has been going downhill. Last week I was in the hospital for 5 days. I just have to figure out what's going on. So I believe in this magazine and I do want to start other magazines, but I got to flip this one first, which means 3 more ads. This is something I didn't start, it's something I took over. They asked me to take it over because I was in the senior living industry, so I'm asking for your help.
Amy Gaskin, everyone.
Amy?
So, Amy, you need 3 ads. Let me be specific. Can we go into how much these ads cost?
Yeah, it's anywhere between 10 to 64 cents a home. So if a small ad with the discounts I could give people from the 1 million cup, you're looking at anywhere between $250 a month and up. I'll get a full page ad depending on how many bells and whistles. The most common ad is an expert contributor, which means you get 4 articles a year in addition to your ad. So you have an ad every month and you're listed on the on the expert page, and only one expert per category. So if you are my roofing expert, there's only one roofer that can be the expert and write the 4 articles. If you want to write more than 4 articles and there happens to be room, my content editor will make that happen if there's room in the magazine, but that's kind of where it goes.
So what is the commitment? How many months do you have to?
So this is all about branding. So it's 12, 24, and 36 months. 12 months tends to get no discount. 24 months gets 10% off and 20% off for 36 months. To be an expert, it is 36 months. And that's the most bang for your dollar.
Okay. Now we're going to turn it out to you all. We are looking for your comments, your suggestions, your help with Amy's business. So raise your hand and keep it concise. And if you have a question, get the question out, and you can either answer or we can move on. So anybody out there?
I pulled the map up here on through her presentation, just so those of you that kind of live maybe in or around these areas can think about what businesses are around here. Or basically your ask is you're 55 plus, so you need to find organizations and locations that are relevant to that 55 plus, things that will attract them or interest them.
Right, but it can be contractors, things that make their home. I really want somebody that will go in there and, teach them about, fixing their home up so that it's safe so they don't fall, but, even, lawn service, roofers, windows, anything, restaurants, caterers. There are top 10 categories. Seniors are nice because they refer you to everyone. So if you're in the magazine and you are giving advice to them and a friend of theirs wants someone, they will give you a referral. All right, so that's why I like the over 55.
Hi, my name is Amy. So yeah, just a quick question. For what you've tried so far, I just want to get your problem across to everybody real clear. What is the main problem you're having with, I guess, the approach that you're taking?
Well, I'm trying to follow the BBM way, and I seem to have more luck outside of Clermont. People in Clermont says everybody knows who they are. They don't want to advertise. Marketing is too expensive. Advertising is too expensive. So even if I can convince them for an appointment, I do confirm the appointment. They don't show up to the appointment. So that's one of my biggest obstacles. And the thing is, I love Clermont. When I first moved to Florida from New Hampshire, we settled in East Orlando, and I went to be halfway between Disney, because I'm a Disney freak, amusement park freak, and the beach. And we were in East Orlando, but I started doing my tours of the communities. I came down Hook Street and noticed the hills in Clermont and the lakes, and I had to pull over because I got so emotionally attached to Clermont. It took me 2 years to move here, and then I knew that I wanted to do something and give back to Clermont because it makes me feel like home.
Have you tried collaborating with only Clermont or any other local connections out here that are really community driven?
I don't know what that organization is, but I'd love to learn about them.
Only in Clermont. She's a podcaster, or she's
Social
media.
media.
She's online, and she highlights a certain place, like here at the.
Is she on Facebook? Because I might have reached out to her on Facebook.
Amy Alenka here. To really understand how I can help you personally, there's a few magazines around here, right, that kind of maybe have a similar mission. How do you differentiate yourself and your product from those that are also on the market? If you can maybe be a little bit clearer for me about a unique proposition, I might be able to better understand how I can support you.
We keep our magazines to affluent homeowners, and it gets mailed out. It's a private monthly magazine that you sponsor that neighborhood, and you give back to that community, and it gets mailed out. So you micro-target. So instead of advertising to all of 34711, you advertise to just the people in those neighborhoods. And once you're in, the price doesn't change, which means, we have an expert alpaca farm out in St. Augustine that's been with us for 13 years, and they're paying that price. from 13 years ago. Their price never changes. But yeah, so it's more social media and print, and then we enhance that through the digital advertising and the online presence to expand that. So you can either have one zip code where you focus on, which is very important to have all your impressions on your digital advertising be in one place, so you're not driving all around, especially if you're a small business, wasting time behind the wheel and gas. And then, of course, your online presence. And that is so affordable and so important to businesses, and it can change the way they do business.
So has your role play in Dungeons and Dragons helped you in finding clients?
Sometimes.
Sometimes,
Yeah, because you can step outside of your comfort zone to meet people. My kids growing up, I've done business in the hot tub before on vacation. I can talk to anyone, anywhere. I'm out there.
I wonder, it's not necessarily have you this is almost exactly what SBDC does. And I'll talk about Fast Track after this, spoiler alert, but last night was a presentation from SBDC, and there was a lot about market research and how you target you have a lot of really good data, and you have a lot of good approaches to when you get to that data. It's just a matter of getting in front of those numbers, right? Getting those people. So kind of looking at, you have the targets, but I would definitely encourage you to use SBDC as a resource, because this situation where you are right now is almost exactly what they're there for. And it's of no cost to anyone that wants to go and kind of just get that plan. There's a lot of talk, and we often talk about this at 1 Million Cups. We're all motivated entrepreneurs with big stars in our eyes. We want to be everything to all people. On the flip side of that token, we often hear people, oh, I tried that, this morning's icebreaker, I tried that, it's not the way to approach it. So what SBDC can do, you have a lot to offer to a very specific group. And while you have data and you have marketing, that is classic what they can do to, all right, I have this, now how do I streamline it all?
Right.
So I would definitely encourage you to use that as a resource. And they have even more data about where you can drill down into the 55 plus neighborhoods and get those. We found out some interesting information last night that, what people are spending on travel. It might be how many times a day people are brushing their teeth. I'm telling you, it is that kind of data. So there are resources out there, and I think if you find that, like Lenka said, what's your differentiator, and then you use these resources that are available in the community, in addition to 1 Million Cups, I really think you could get a targeted, focused plan on who are you lining up within your industry as your market.
And that's my goal. And my goal is also to make sure we become a community. Ocala was one of the company started with magazines in Florida and Wisconsin, and Ocala was where it was. And so there was 6 magazines, and now we're over 1,400. There's 140 choices here in Florida. And Ocala has like 9 magazines, and most of the advertisers are in all 9 because it's that impactful, and it's making their business money. So it's brought the communities together. People learn more about one another, and so I want to make sure that Clermont can come closer together, because Clermont's growing. And we are a word-of-mouth community, and there are people that have been here since the dawn of time, but there's a lot of new people coming in. And in the senior community, the same thing. They're moving in and out because they're going to senior living. They're going to back home back up north to be closer to their kids, because things happen. So this is a great market for businesses to get into. And a lot of them are small business owners themselves.
Same.
Yeah, so another publication you want to be aware of is Stroll.
Yep, know all about them.
So something to differentiate yourself, kind of like what Link was saying, is maybe really kind of anchor to something. So if you're going to be anchoring to that 55 plus target, other ways to maybe get yourself more visibility is look at trying to host something. You could use the magazine to host, your own event,
Yep.
to bring people out and, get familiarized with each other in the community, whether it's businesses or community activities, so on and so forth. That'll really drive more of the community aspect. And that will actually drive advertisers to want to come to you and say, hey, this is kind of cool, versus you just constantly having to be out there and sell. It's a challenge, you know, because there's so many publications that people have to choose from. So.
Yeah, that's my goal. So through my Ask Amy About Aging platform, I like to do events, and I've done events for up to 200 seniors here in Central Florida. I've also had a magazine that it went out to 5,000 seniors in 5 counties. It was mailed out, but you also could pick it up in stuff areas as well. And I did one in South Florida. This one's slightly different. It is mailed out, but I do want to do the Clermont Neighborhood Olympics, where I'll be doing 12 events a month. And all the sponsors of the magazine get to have a table at the event. It doesn't cost them anything extra. But again, until I sell those 3 extra ads and flip the magazine to make it wholly mine and take it over officially, I can't do any of that.
Just a question on 55 versus 65 seniors versus when do we use that term, right? I mean, I'm just clarification for.
Well,
65 is considered senior?
so to be in an over 55 community like Kings Ridge, Heritage Hills, and Summit Greens, one person in the house has to be that age.
But senior, the term, is that
The term,
65 and
well,
above?
in my opinion, it's 65 and up, but you can get senior discounts at 55.
Okay.
So, Amy, here's the offer for you. My name is Lee Tran, and I do have a podcast. It's called From Surviving to Driving. It is podcast on every Monday live on Facebook. So I would love to, this coming Monday, actually, I have an open spot.
Okay.
So if you, and the theme for this month is purpose and passion. So you definitely can bring in and use that clip to promote or to talk about what you're doing and share with the community.
Sounds great.
Connections, beautiful.
Actually, Amy and I met on Tuesday to discuss advertising in her magazine. And the issue that I have in business, I'm good friends with Ryan at Stroll, I know Sarah with The Local, and the issue with all 3 of those publications that I see is they're all run like yellow pages. So you're locked in for a year, you're locked in for 2 years or 3 years, where today's advertising in publications should work like a gym membership. If you don't want to advertise, there's a 30-day cancellation for an ad and you're done. That's the issue, because the discount is great, but to lock in for 36 months to get a discount, that's a big ask for somebody that may have never advertised before. It's a big ask for 12 months, so that's my thoughts on that.
Well, this is all about branding, and so branding is a long-term thing. It's not a one-and-done thing, and it's to affluent advertisers. It's to affluent clients, and so this is the formula. We used to do 3, 6, and 9-month contracts, and then what ends up happening is at 9 months you start getting all the traction and it starts working, but people get nervous and they pull it out, and then in the 10th month they're not in the magazine, and the neighbors are calling them. BVM made a big mistake. They pulled your ad out. What are you going to do? And so then they have to call to get back in, and then they might lose their pricing. And so we then moved on to 12, 24, and 36, and that is what works best. 96% of the people that do a 36-month campaign never leave.
96%, that's pretty good. Print media does it work?
Yes.
You have the numbers behind it.
So social media and print is a little bit different. So print was dying. So in 2007, when we started BVM, that's when print was dying. Nobody wanted to do print anymore. Everything was all social media and digital. So we took what was working with print and combined it with what was working in social media and married them together. So we're known as the social media or the Facebook of print advertising. So it's all about, the magazine is all about the seniors in Kings Ridge, Heritage Hills, and Summit Greens. It's all about the neighbors. It's about the neighbors giving advice. It's the businesses in the community giving advice. It's about learning more about the community. It's about bringing the community together. It's about, knowing what's going on. I want to get the seniors out of their house. So a lot of the business owners keep telling me they can't get the seniors to come out. They just kind of stay in their community and do nothing. And that's not healthy for the seniors. And so I want to make sure that we have events.
Definitely. And we've got Amy's contact information up here and some of her ideas and asks. So as you're still thinking and driving around in these areas that she's mentioned, and we're just going to go with 55 plus. We'll keep the seniors word out of it. Anything, activities that come to mind, her contact information is here. So that feedback doesn't have to just be today. If there's something that you're at and it strikes a chord, make sure you reach out to Amy.
Right.
And she's looking for 3 ads, 4 ads. Granted, they are at least a year.
Yep.
And she's looking for 15 to 30 minutes to talk to people like she did with Ken. So, and there are a lot of businesses here that work within the 55-plus community, so.
Right, but we also have, you know, Horizon West. I can also do Eustis. There's 140 magazines here in Florida, most of which are all-age magazines. So it all depends on where you want to target, but it's all about micro-targeting to keep your costs down and get you the most bang for your dollar. So if you're doing a whole bunch of business in one area, you're not spending as much gas to get there.
Excellent.
Wonderful.
So there's her contact information, website. Do we have one last question?
Sarah, you're it.
Yeah.
Hi there, Sarah Nicole with the local. First of all, I just want to say I feel your pain, 100%. What I would suggest to you, especially in the Horizon West area, would be to collaborate. The more people, the bigger your network is out there, especially the people that are doing the events and things like that. Believe it or not, they are very open to collaborating because then it's not only your brand, it's their brand, etc. So if you need any contact information for that, I'd be happy to help you.
Great.
Thank you so much. Amy Gaskin, everyone.
Thank you, Amy.
And Amy, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Yes. We have a question to ask you.
This is our final 1 million cups question that we always like to ask, because everyone in the room knows what can we as a community do to help you?
Send me some people that are interested in giving back to Clermont.
Excellent. Excellent.
Right.
We
Amy
can all
Gaskin.
source some of those. Thank you,
Thank you
Amy.
so much, Amy. Thank you.